So here we are in the Stetson hat exhibit here at the Brockville Museum. Now this is one of our newer exhibits, which means that we have a little bit of a different way of telling our story. We of course have the artifacts that are behind me that look at some of the hats that were being made here in Brockville, but we also have a couple of interactives which you'll have a chance to see later on. Now I did say that it was the Stetson hat exhibit, but it's not just telling the story of the Stetson hat factory here in town. It's also looking at some of the other factories that were here before Stetson's that were making hats. In fact, our hat making factories go way back to 1902. We had the Union Hat Factory, the Volthausen Hat Factory, and then Stetson, probably the most famous name in hats, ended up opening a factory here in 1935. We were the very first Stetson hat factory outside of the United States. And they were making all sorts of different things. The fedoras that they're famous for that are behind me, but they were also making something pretty amazing. And I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. I wanted to share with you this particular artifact. It actually was just donated to the museum in the last couple of months. And one of the stories that we always came across when we were doing research about Stetson's is that they were the exclusive provider of all of the hats for the RCMP. And so for members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they all would have been wearing a Stetson that was made here in Brockville, but we didn't have one in the collection until now. This one was donated to us, as I said, just a couple of months ago, and it was originally given to a recruit who went out on the beat back in 1966. He wore this all the way till 1980 when he went to Ottawa for a new position, but we're lucky enough to have it here in the museum. And I did say that, of course, it is made here in Brockville, but even if you didn't know that anyway, if you flip it over and look inside the brim, it even says Brockville Stetson right inside. So in one part of the exhibit, we have this interactive touchscreen, and what it does is it shows a couple of videos of how Stetson hats were actually being made, but also some of the advertisements that would have been shown at the movie theaters and other places. These originally were reel-to-reel films, and the felting one that we're going to see here was done back in the 1920s. Although it wasn't in the Brockville hat factory, it's the same way that hats would have been made back then. We had a volunteer a couple of years ago who had experience in taking these reel-to-reel films and making them into a digital copy. And so we've been able to have them here for you to take a look at the way that these were advertised and get a better idea of how the hats were actually made. So this is my favorite part of the hat exhibit. It gives you a chance to take a close-up look at some of the hats, but it also gives you a chance to put them on, and we have a great photo booth here. So you can come on in. It's just like the photo booths that they used to have at the mall. See how many people we can fit in here, try on a bunch of different hats. They'll take 4 pictures and it'll email you the pictures later on. So we're going to give it a try. Oh, I was moving in that one. Try a new hat. Uh-oh.
Say cheese.
Oh, I think I like the black one now.
And another.
And then one last one, and this gray one is my absolute favorite.
One more. Wait.
So while the pictures are getting loaded on, it'll ask you for your email, it sends it back home. If you do come and visit the museum though, make sure that you check your spam mail because sometimes it ends up there. So thank you for taking a little bit of a look at our hat exhibit. Now, of course, this is just one of many exhibits that we have here at the Brockville Museum. If you're trying to figure out when you want to come and visit or a little bit more information about our exhibits or our programs here at the museum, you can visit us at brockvillemuseum.com. And right now, during the summer, we're open 7 days a week.